bringing yourself into that comfortable seat, cross-legged, kneeling, or just legs out in front, easy pose. And if it feels good, just closing the eyes. I know it's first thing in the morning, and closing the eyes again might be fooling the body into thinking that we're going back to bed. But just try to focus on the breath. You can breathe in through the mouth or the nose. In and out through the mouth or the nose. And just follow that breath in, trying to fill the belly. So try to concentrate on the belly pushing out as you breathe in. Sometimes it's easier to let the breath come out through the mouth after you've done this. And then this time, breathing into the belly, and then trying to expand into the rib cage and the lungs a little, so that the breath goes down and then comes up into the chest. So just expanding the breath every time. Trying to use the breath to create space in the chest, in the belly, in the rib cage. Eventually the collarbone might start to rise. So we're filling the body with prana, or energy with breath, expanding. Maybe feeling the whole of the chest and the back body expanding with your breath. And then this time when you breathe in, reach the hands up towards the sky, just loosely. And as you breathe out, pull the hands down, kind of slowly at first, breathing in, reaching up. Maybe using the breath coming out of the mouth so that you can start to kind of force that breath out as you pull the hands down. Increasing the movement as you reach up. I've got a squeaky nose, I do apologize. 2 more. Taking the hands just back onto the lap. Allow your breath to just pick up its own rhythm. Maybe there's a feeling or a tingling sensation in the body. We've kind of flooded the lungs, the brain, the blood with oxygen. So that's going to travel out through the body. And we're going to start seated, or we're going to stay seated. So you can move your legs if you need to at any point, or you can cross over. But we're going to start with our neck this morning. So just taking your chin kind of down as if to look towards the floor. Chin coming down towards the chest. And we're just going to do some neck rotations. So taking your right ear over towards your right shoulder. So starting to feel a little bit of a stretch or some lengthening down the left side towards the collarbone. Maybe even feeling it creeping round into the shoulder blade at the back of the body. And just taking a couple of breaths here. And then as we move to the opposite side, come back through center, so taking the chin towards the chest, taking the left ear towards the left shoulder. And just holding here for a couple of breaths as well. Again, just bringing your attention to where you feel it. If it's too intense or it's uncomfortable, you just lift the head up slightly. As you breathe out, come back through center, taking the right ear over to the right side. Breathing in here. Breathing out back through center to the opposite side. Breathing in here. Breathing out, come through center, taking the right ear to the right shoulder. This time as you breathe in, let the head roll backwards, going through the back body towards the left. So linking it with your breath, breathing out as the chin comes through the chest. Breathing in as the head rolls through the back body. So try not to let your shoulders rise up. Try to let the movement come from the neck. Notice the weight of your head as you move around, so just be careful not to take it too far. Just be aware of any crunchy bits or any kind of niggly aches and pains as you move around, and just keep the motion fluid, so try to keep it at the same pace using your breath. Try not to linger in these areas that are uncomfortable, but don't zoom past them either. Just trying to keep a fluid motion. I used to make the joke we're not doing The Exorcist here, so just it should feel nice. Our morning practice should be a wake up. A bit like cats, they never just get up and go. They stretch, they move. They allow the body to kind of reawaken from their nap before they move out. Once your head comes towards the chest again, take it in the opposite direction. Maybe changing the breath, so breathing in through the bottom, through the chest, breathing out as it goes through the back. Just alternating the breath can change the feeling, change the awareness. Sometimes we have a preference for breathing in a particular way, and if we force ourselves to do it differently, we're reactivating the brain to do something or making it think about it. So often our bodies build patterns and habits. Our bodies often cheat as well. They cheat us. They find the easiest way to do something, and the easiest way sometimes can be more damaging. But the body would rather do it that way than do it properly. Or we allow it to take the easy route, which is where a lot of tension or unevenness or balance is lost in the body sometimes. And then as we come back to center, so your chin's down at your chest, just starting to look up. We're going to do some shoulder rolls. So pull the shoulders up towards the ears. And then we're going to take them forward. So rolling them forwards and down, taking them through the back of the body, round and up. So we're going to do 5 going forward. So you can introduce as much movement as you wish into the arms. Moving with the breath as well. 2 more. Last one. When you come back through center, take it in the opposite direction. So notice if one way is more fluid than the other. Does it move easier in one direction? Notice what's happening with the scapula, so the shoulder blades at the back of the body as they pull down and round. One more this way. So we're moving down the body. Let's work into our spine. So we're going to do some seated cat-cows. So I like to take my hands onto my knees. Remember, if you're getting pins and needles in your feet, you can swap over your cross leg. I think I just swapped mine back the exact same way, but you can swap over. Holding on to the knees, they're kind of like an anchor point when we do seated cat-cow. So I pull the knees towards me as I pull the shoulder blades together, breathing in, allow the chest to come forward. It's almost as if my tailbone sticks out. So if I do this sideways, you can kind of see how I'm moving into my spine or curving into the lower part of the spine. Chest comes forward, head looks up past the horizon. As we come into cat, I'm pushing the spine backwards. I'm pushing into my knees, rounding into the back, tucking my chin in. Breathing in, pulling forwards, chest comes through. Breathing out, rounding into the back, pushing backwards. Breathing in, pulling forwards, shoulder blades pull together, trying to create space in my heart. Breathing out, rounding down. Breathing in, pulling forwards. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Moving back to neutral. We're going to do some twists here. So again, we can use the knees as our anchor point. So I'm going to take my right hand over to the left knee. So I'll mirror you guys at the moment. Sitting up nice and tall, my left hand can come to the side of the body, or if you have the mobility, you might be moving it more behind the body. Try and sit up tall, feel the sit bones grounded, feel nice and long in the spine, using the shoulders or the anchor on that knee to allow the twist to come from the middle of the back. You can look, if you wish, over that left shoulder. Try not to lose any height. It's a morning twist, so we don't need to make it too intense. Breathing into the body, so expanding into the twist. If it's difficult to breathe, you can take out the twist just a little. As you breathe out, come back through center, take it in the opposite direction so that when you breathe in again, you're taking your left hand to the right knee, building up some height here. Breathing out, maybe taking the twist a little deeper. One more. Breathing out, coming back through center. So I'm going to come off my blocks at the moment, just bringing myself a bit closer to the floor for this next part. You don't need to if you're sitting on a block or a cushion and it's comfortable. You can stay seated there. We're going to do some side bends. We're going to work into the kind of side of the body as we come through our morning practice. So starting with the right hand, just taking it into down towards the floor on the right, bending into that right elbow so that you can start to take a little bit of a bend. So you're taking a compression into the right, stretching through the left. Reach that left hand up and over, and then just lower into that right elbow if you need to. The lower you go, the more chances your body will want to lift up. So keep your sit bones rooted. You can start to look towards the left if you want to take a little bit of a rotation in the spine. So you're kind of looking almost under the arm that you're raising up overhead. For 3, 2, concentrating on the breath as well, don't lose it. And 1, push into the right hand, lift yourself up, taking the left hand down to the floor, softening into the left elbow, starting to take the bend the opposite way. So just finding where's comfortable for you to stop, reaching the right hand up. Again, you can start to look towards the right. Don't let the root of your body, so don't let your bottom lift up. Try and keep it down into the mat. For 3, 2, and 1. Push yourself up and over, sweeping the hands. Right hand touches down, left hand reaches over. Obviously, the more you reach with that upper hand, the more lengthening or stretching you'll feel down the left side. As you breathe, you'll expand into the intercostal muscles in the rib cage. Breathing in, push yourself up, sweep the hands back over to the opposite side. Left hand touches down, right hand reaches away. Breathing here for 3, 2, and 1. Coming back through center. So we're going to stay where we are seated, but we're going to take the hands out in front of the body. And it doesn't matter how far or how close you get to the floor. This will depend. What I want you to concentrate more on is keeping your bum pushing down and backwards. So take the hands out in front and just start to walk them out just a little. You can push, once you feel like you've reached as far as you want to, push into the hands, round into the back, tuck the chin in towards the chest, and try and push the lower back and the bottom down into the mat. So your knees might feel like they want to lift up or go backwards. But we want to lengthen through the spine all the way down to the lower back. So depending how far or how close you get to the floor will depend on how deep you feel this. So if you're quite flexible in your back, you might be quite low to the ground in order to feel that stretch or lengthening through the whole of the spine. So this is quite active. You feel like you're pushing the floor away or pushing your body away. For 2 and 1, start to walk the hands back towards the body, rising up. We're going to take the hands over the right knee so that we take them out in front. So we're taking a rotation and forward flexion of the spine. So we're looking out over the right knee, softening into the elbows, taking a little bit of a forward fold. Don't go too far here, but we're going to work into the lower side body. So working to where the muscles kind of wrap around into the glutes, into the pelvis. You might feel a little compression in the front, tension in the back. Doesn't matter how far you fold over the knee, but just taking the twist towards the knee and a little forward fold, even if it's just a rounding of the spine. For 2 and 1, breathing in, lifting yourself back up. We're going to the opposite knee. So we're taking ourselves over the opposite knee, starting to soften into the elbows as we fold forward. Noticing if you've got one side that's more comfortable than the other, or one more challenging. Just breathing here as well. For 2 and 1, rising back up. We're almost there. We're going to work into some movement pretty soon. So just before we get there, We're just going to wake up the hands a little bit into the wrists, because we're going to be using our wrists or our hands to hold us in a couple of our twists this morning. So take the hands out in front, interlace the fingers, push the palms away, so out in front. Really try and stretch through the wrists. You can tuck the chin in if it helps, round into the shoulders, pushing the spine away as you push the hands out in front. Holding here for 2. And 1, as you breathe in, take the wrists or the palms up towards the sky. Oh, stretching through here for 2. And 1, let the fingers come apart. I was about to say uninterlace, but take the fingers apart. Reach the hands out to the sides. Turn the palms to face forwards. Turn the palms to face up. Twist through. See if you can get the thumb to come down so the palms face backwards, feeling the rotation or internal rotation of the shoulder. Holding here, take the palms back around. We're going to take the hands up towards the sky. Take your right hand and take it down to the middle of your back or to the back of the neck. See if you can touch your elbow with the opposite and just encourage that elbow backwards. If you're kind of curling in here, don't worry about holding on to the elbow. Just try and sit up nice and tall. Feeling a wee bit of a stretch into our triceps, working into the shoulders for 2. And 1, taking both hands back up again. This time the left hand comes to the kind of lower part of the back, in between the spine or at the back of the neck, pulling on that elbow a little. Sitting up nice and tall for 2. And 1, taking both hands. Oh, wiggle into the fingers. We're going to move to all 4s. So bringing yourself round onto all 4s. We're not going to do too much here other than move to downward facing dog. So from tabletop or Dandayamana Brahmanasana, take the hands a little further out in front, tuck into the toes, lift yourself up towards downward facing dog. So maybe hover the knees off the floor, take the hips up, pedal into the feet here. So really bringing the attention, be quite soft in your upper body. So you don't need to go straight to a full downward facing dog. We're going to walk the dog here, which means pedaling into the feet, bending into the knees. You'll notice I'm a bit rounded in my back at the moment. So until I get full, or at least a little bit of length built up in the back of the legs, I'm going to keep the upper body a little bit more rounded. So just pedaling here. We're going to be working through a low lunge flow this morning. So Anjaneyasana, low lunge. And we're going to include a couple of twists. We'll then work into Ardha Hanumanasana, so half splits or half monkey pose. And this will also help open up the back of the legs. So just bringing your attention there now to the calf muscle, hamstring, back of the knee. Are you feeling any tension? Is it tight? Is it going to need a little bit more time to warm up or lengthen this morning? Also then bring your awareness to your foundation in your hands. So just making sure your fingers are nice and wide, nice and long through the arms. We're just here for another 3, 2, and 1. Let's see if we can take ourselves just towards a still downward facing dog. So just working into pushing down into the toes and the fingers, maybe softening into the back of the knees. Pull the belly button in. Push the chest down towards the mat a little so that you start to feel a pull maybe into the shoulders, down the triceps, all the way down to the fingers. I'm going to hold here for 3, for 2, and 1. Now, instead of walking your feet towards your hands, start to walk your hands back towards your feet. Bend into the knees as much as you need to. So we're going to come to a kind of forward fold at the back of the mat. So you've walked your hands. Breathing in, take a little half lift first. Breathing in, straight legs, straight back, holding onto your shins or your knees. As you fold forward here, you've got two options: holding onto either elbow, letting your head and your upper body dangle down towards the floor. If this is a bit tough on the back of the legs this morning, soften into the knees, hug your hands behind the knees so that you're kind of hugging your chest and your belly into your thighs, and just take a little forward fold here so that you're not going to go forward too much because you're holding onto the back of the legs. It can help you stretch them or straighten them a little bit more. It's quite a nice morning fold. It's got less pressure than having the whole weight of your upper body pulling forward. So just holding where's comfortable for you for 5, for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let the hands come back down to the floor. Slowly walk yourself back towards downward facing dog. So keeping the knees soft if you need to. Finding your downward facing dog for 3, 2, and 1. We're going to start with our left leg. So reach the left leg out behind, 3-legged dog. Reaching the toes away. Pulling that knee in towards the belly and the chest. We're going to arch into the back as we step that left foot forward in between our hands. Come down onto the right knee. So we're in low lunge, Anjaneyasana. You can take the back foot flat. I realise I haven't even put the music on. Taking the back foot flat. We're going to rise up onto that knee first. So lift yourself up onto the knee. Push into your hands. Lift the chest up. Feel nice and tall. Try not to let the pelvis sink too much, just in this first one. Nice and strong into the foundation. Pushing down into that front left toe the most. From here, we're going to reach the hands up towards the sky. So reach the fingers up. Squeezing the inner thighs together, pushing down into that big left toe. For 3, 2, and 1. As you breathe out, take the right hand to the front knee, to the left knee, reaching the left hand back. So we're reaching, taking a twist here. Our first twist is going to be upright, just getting the spine warmed up. Holding here. So you're using that right hand on the front left knee just to keep the knee in the center. Don't let it fall out to the side. So the twist comes from the spine and the torso. For 2 and 1. Sweeping that left hand up and over. Taking it back down to the mat. Taking the right hand down to the mat also. From here, we're going to push back into Ardha Hanumanasana. So we start to push the hips backwards, stretching or lengthening into this front left foot. If you want to, you could flex the toes back, pushing down into the heel, rising up a little taller, seeing if you can straighten. I'll try and move my leg out of the way. See if you can straighten that front leg a little bit. If we need a little bit more light in here, that might help you. So Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. So you can be bent in at the knee a bit more forward, or your hips come back, legs straightens. For 3, 2, and 1. Stepping the left sole of the foot down into the mat, framing your hands either side. We're going to come up off that right knee. So push into or tuck the right toes, lift up off the right knee. We're in runner's lunge, Ashwasanchalanasana. Stepping that left foot back to plank. We're going to do a vinyasa here. So lower down through chaturanga. Press up, pushing up, upward facing dog. Rolling over on the toes or coming through the knees to downward facing dog. We won't do that every time, but we just want to warm up still. We're going to move to the opposite side. So right leg reaches away, toes point. 3-legged dog. Then pulling that right knee in towards the belly and the chest, arching into the back as you step that foot forwards down in between your hands. Come down onto the left knee this time, lifting yourself up onto that right knee. Nice and tall, long through the spine. Trying to work your foundation to be more square, squeezing the inner thighs a little. Breathing here for 2 and 1, then reaching the hands up towards the sky. Low lunge reach, Anjaneyasana. For 3, 2, remember to push down into that big right toe, and 1. This time we're taking the left hand to cup the front right knee, reaching that right hand back towards the bottom of the mat. So we're taking a twist in the spine. We're trying to hold that knee in place, not letting it fall out to the side, so that we can squeeze our inner thighs together. For 3, 2, and 1. Sweeping that right hand up and over, taking it down to the mat, pushing the left hand down into the floor. We're going to push back to Ardha Hanumanasana. So taking the hips back towards the left heel. Once you've kind of reached where your leg will straighten, maybe flexing the toes back towards the body as well. So Ardha Hanumanasana is kind of, everyone's is different. It all depends on the length you've got through the back of the leg, how comfortable you are holding yourself here, either folding forwards or keeping the spine nice and straight. Always work on pulling the belly button in. As you pull in, it gives you space to maybe reach forwards or straighten the leg a little bit more. For 3, 2, and 1. Stepping the right sole of the foot back down into the floor, pushing down into both hands, tucking into the left toes, rising up off the left knee, coming to runner's lunge, Ashwasanchalanasana. Stepping that right foot back to plank, lowering down through Chaturanga. Push up through the hands, upward facing dog. Rolling over on the toes, downward facing dog. This time for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to move back to the left side. So reaching the left leg out behind, 3-legged dog. Then pulling that left knee in towards the belly and the chest, arching into the back as you step that left foot forward. We're going to come down onto the right knee. This time we're going to reach all the way up to the sky so that we're taking the hands high straight away. Working into our foundation, pushing down into that front toe for 3, 2, and 1. Taking the right hand to the left knee, reaching that left hand towards the bottom of the mat. Again, trying to imagine your belly button wanting to come round to the left. Reaching away for 2, and 1. Sweeping that hand up and over, taking it down to the floor. This time, waiting here for just a second, so not going back to Ardha Hanumanasana straight away. This time we're going to do a couple of twists. So push your right hand down into the floor, push down into the left foot, twist and reach that left hand up towards the sky. So we're doing a revolved, twisted Anjaneyasana. Holding here for 3, 2, and 1. As you take the left hand down, take it to the inside of the left leg rather than the outside. Take it to the inside, beside the big toe. Push the hand down into the mat. Push your shoulder into your knee. Push the knee into your left shoulder as if to balance you here. See if you can take the twist in the opposite direction, reaching the right hand up, looking towards the right. So you've got less center of gravity here. You're in one position, the inside of the body. For 2, and 1. Bringing the right hand down to the floor. Stepping the left hand over the left knee. Let's push back to Ardha Hanumanasana, half monkey pose. Push the hips back, flex the toes towards the body. Maybe this time you could fold forwards, lengthening through the spine, lengthening through the back of that left leg. Holding here for 3. If it's tough, walk the hands a bit closer back towards the body. Get a little bit of height instead. 2. And 1. Stepping the left foot down. Pushing both hands into the mat. Tucking into the right toes. Lifting the right knee. Ashwasanchalanasana. Stepping back to plank. This time go straight to downward facing dog. For 2. And 1. Right side. So right leg reaches up. Right knee moves in towards the belly and the chest, arching into the back, stepping that right foot forward. Come down onto your left knee this time, taking the left foot flat. Push down into the big toe of the right foot, rising up to a reaching low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Breathing here for 3. For 2. And 1. Left hand comes down onto the right knee, cups, keeps it in center. Right hand reaches to the bottom of the mat, taking the twist. You're looking towards the right, or maybe towards the right thumb, reaching towards the bottom of the mat. Work into your foundation, push down into that big toe for 3, 2, and 1. Sweeping that right hand up and over, taking it down into the floor. Pushing the left hand down into the mat. Leaning into that left arm, pushing down into the right big toe. Let's take the twist, or revolved Anjaneyasana twist. Reaching the right hand up to the sky, pushing down into the left. For 3, 2, and 1. This time, as you take that right hand down, take it to the inside of that right leg so that your hand is beside the big toe. Your right shoulder's pushing into your right knee. You're taking the twist to the left, reaching the left hand up. So it's a little bit more concentrated into the core. Even if you just take the hand to your hip if you want to, Stephen, if you don't want to lift it all the way up, just work to twisting here. Holding for another 2 and 1. It's a tougher twist because your body or your balance is much finer. So take the left hand down to the floor, lift the right hand back over the right leg, push your body back to Ardha Hanumanasana. So taking the hips back towards the left heel. From here, maybe folding forwards, or take the hands closer to the body, rising up nice and long through the spine. Do what feels good for you this morning. The main piece that we want to work is the back of the leg ultimately. Holding here for another 2 and 1. Stepping the sole of the foot down into the mat, pushing both hands down either side of that foot, tucking into the left toes, rising up off the left knee. We're going to step this right foot back to plank. Take the hips high, downward facing dog. Amazingly, we're almost at the end of our practice this morning. So we're going to work to, instead of coming to low lunge, we're going to see if we can work our way up to a crescent lunge. So working on some leg strength and balance. We'll start with the left leg and I'll guide you through. Taking the left leg out behind, 3-legged dog. Holding here for another breath. Then pulling that left knee in towards the belly and the chest arching into the back, stepping that left foot forward in between your hands. Don't come down onto that right knee. Hold here in runner's lunge, Sanchalanasana. See if you can push down into both feet. So down into the big left toe, down into the big right toe. Seeing if you can rise up here to crescent lunge, taking the hands high. So we're just working to hold here in crescent lunge if we can. Remember, you can soften into the knees. Sometimes that gives you a little bit more stability. We're going to hold here for 3, 2, and 1. Folding forwards this time, taking yourself all the way down to the floor, back to runner's lunge. From runner's lunge, your left foot is forward, your right foot is back. Lean into the right hand. See if we can take a runner's lunge twist, reaching the left hand up towards the sky. Holding here. So try and make sure that knee doesn't make sure the knee doesn't push out. Push down into the left big toe. Pull the belly in for 2 and 1. Bringing the left hand down to the mat, stepping that left foot back to plank, taking the hips high, downward facing dog. Last time, opposite side, right side's going to move first. Taking the right leg out behind, reaching away with the toes. Taking an extra breath here. Then pulling that right knee in towards the belly and the chest, arching into the back, stepping it in between your hands roughly. Work into your foundation here, so push down into both feet. Once you feel confident or strong in the foundation, you can then rise up, reaching the hands up to crescent lunge, nice and high. You can soften into the knees slightly if it helps with your stability. Holding here for 3, for 2, and 1. As you breathe out, folding over the right foot, hands come down to the floor. We're back in runner's lunge. Lean into the left side this time. Push down into the left hand. Push down into the big right toe. Start to take the twist in the opposite direction, looking towards the right. Right hand reaches up to the sky. So it's the same twist that we did in Anjaneyasana, but we're now doing it in Ashwasanchalanasana, runner's lunge. For 3, 2, and 1. Bringing the right hand down to the floor. Stepping back to plank with the right foot. Take the hips high. Downward facing dog for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the knees down to the floor. Let's come back to tabletop. Dandayamana Brahmanasana. Bringing the hands underneath the shoulders. Holding here for 2. And 1. Let's take ourselves down to child's pose. So take the knees about as wide as your mat. Start to work your your glutes back towards the heel. Reach the hands out in front. So try to keep your forearms off the floor for this beginning part. So feel the stretch coming through the arms, the chest, almost through the armpits or the lat muscles that come down underneath the armpits and shoulders. Breathing here for 3, nice and active. 2, and 1. Letting the hands or the forearms soften into the mat. Taking some of that pressure out of the shoulder. For 3, for 2, and 1. I've got one more thing to do. So bring yourself or lift your head. Lift yourself up. Keep your forearms on the floor if you can. And we're going to take ourselves down onto our bellies. So we're going to reach the legs out in front. We're going to bring our belly down onto the floor. Bring your hands back underneath your shoulders as if you're going to do a press up, but we're not going to do a press up, don't worry. We're going to do Cobra. So Cobra is a slightly less intense version of upward facing dog, where we use the hands to push into the ground. So take your view forwards as if you're looking towards the bottom corner of your room, or where your carpet or floor meets the skirting board. Pull the elbows in towards the chest. Push the palms down into the ground. Pull the belly button in. So we're going to work into the core in the back here. As you breathe out, lift the chest slightly. Pull the shoulder blades together. Push down into the palms. Reach the toes away. So we're coming to a half lift of Cobra. For 3, 2, And 1. Lower the chest and the chin down. Bringing the body down for 3, 2, and 1. Breathing in here. As you breathe out, pull the belly button in, push down into the hands, lift the chest, looking towards the horizon, pull the shoulder blades together for cobra, bringing yourself as high as you wish. If you have the mobility in your back for 3, 2, and 1, lowering all the way back down. For 2, and 1. Last one. Squeeze the elbows in towards the ribs. Push down into your hands. Reach away with the toes. You could even hover the feet off the floor if you wish, if you have the ability to do this. Breathing out, push into the floor. Pull the belly button in. Rising up to reaching cobra for 3, 2, and 1. Let the belly come down. Take the hands to cactus. Let the chest and the chin, maybe taking your face to one side, so looking towards the left. Letting the shoulders melt into the floor here. If you took one side of the face down, look in the opposite direction so that we work into both shoulders. And then slowly lifting yourself back up to all fours or tabletop. And then coming back towards a comfortable seat just for a couple of minutes, just to finish our practice in seated breath awareness. For the morning practice, I don't normally take us to Shavasana unless we've been active from start to finish, but that usually depends on the weather. So just taking the last couple of minutes just to bring your awareness into your body. Allow the breath to be normal. So that might be in through the mouth and the nose, out through the mouth or the nose. Try to find your sit bones so that you can sit up nice and tall, long through the spine. Relax into the shoulders, arms, elbows, all the way down to the fingers. Let go of any tension in the forehead, eyebrows, jaw, or mouth. Just tuning into you, bringing the awareness into your body after you've practiced. And then just to bring ourselves out, taking a nice deep breath in and sigh out. 2 more. Last one. And then we'll close our practice, tuning into the divine energies of Om. So tapping into the eternal energy, both within us and out with. So if you wish to, you could take your hands into prayer, in towards your chest, breathing in towards the belly and the lungs. And letting that vibration wash over and through you. Letting the sound of Om take you through to the end of your day. Thank you for joining me for your morning practice. I went over by about 5 minutes. So if you've got somebody making you breakfast, you might be late or lucky. But thank you very much for joining me this morning. These classes are all now recorded and go on to a private YouTube space. So you have access to all the classes that you attend to watch back as well. So just send or ask for the link. And they're up for about 2 weeks, and then they get swapped over with the next ones that come up. So just let me know if you need access so that you can do the practice again in your own leisure. So thank you very much for joining me, and have a lovely rest of your day. And I will either see you same time next week, or I'll see you at another class this week. So thank you for joining, and I'll speak to you guys later. Bye-bye. Goodbye.